Good evening and welcome. My name is Angie Snyder Duncan, and I am here to give my informative speech on one of my favorite pastimes, which is backpacking and hiking. There is a difference between the two. Basic hiking could be anything from day hikes, one overnight, or a hike through. It would be on a trail. There may be limited water sources. Limited civilization. It could be close to an ocean, up in a mountain, terrain, no terrain. Anything is possible. What I'm going to talk to you about today are some of the most important things that you'll want to have with you. What I look at is the three most important items to have or take care of. Your feet are number one. You got to take care of what's carrying you. Your backpack, depending on the length of your hike, where you're going, what you're carrying, how many days, the terrain, etc., etc. All those things are very important. And then the third thing that I kind of want to add, and we'll wrap up talking about, is the information and the direction. So, and by direction, I mean staying on course. First, with your feet, let's talk about shoes. Depending on the size of your pack, the terrain you're hiking, time of year, all of these things are very important with the type of footwear you use. A good rule of thumb is the bigger and heavier the pack, the higher or more ankle support you need. So if I'm doing just a day hike, I may wear just an all-terrain shoe. Tennis shoes work great, something with good support, something that is kind of universal. I call them cross trainers. That's a kind of a good way to look at it. You don't really have to have a whole lot of ankle support. If I'm doing a day hike in the mountains and know I'm going to be climbing over several rocks or very inconsistent terrain, I may wear a mid-high ankle type boot. Gives me a little bit more support, even though I don't have a lot of weight on my back. Your backpack, if it's very, very heavy, there are boots that are not typical, like the typical, I don't know, midriff, high. There's something that's like a combat boot that's made. Sorry, I don't have a specific on that boot, but again, good rule, the heavier the pack, the higher you need your shoes to be around your ankles for support. You got to remember, all of your weight's up here. You've got to be able to support down below. The next thing is choosing your pack. We tend to overpack a lot, so really consider. Another good rule of thumb is everything weighs something. I learned this after my first overnight trip when I packed way too much. I came off the trail of 8 miles. It was 4.5 miles the first day, 4 miles the second day. We had a lot of terrain and elevation gain and loss in the hike. But I came off the trail pretty much on my hands and knees crying because I was in so much pain. I had way too much on my back, more than I needed. So when I did another recent hike that was 3 days, I mean, right down to every little ibuprofen I packed. I didn't take any more than I possibly needed because I knew everything weighs something. Now, what you'll want to do is you'll want to decide your day pack versus your overnight. I am a fan of the Osprey pack. I have an Osprey overnight pack that I purchased from REI, one of my favorite stores for purchasing hiking and backpacking equipment. You want to make sure you have the right type of backpack. They come in different liter sizes. If you go to the store, they'll fit you for the appropriate pack. In your day pack, your biggest concern is going to be to make sure you have water or a water filter. If it's just a day, I usually take all water. Along with your water in your day pack, you're going to want to make sure you have some protein. And I always carry some sort of smaller emergency kit. I live in the South where we have snakes, so I carry a snake bite kit. God forbid I see a snake, I'll probably panic and pass out. If it bites me and I wake up, I've got a kit to extract the venom, that sort of thing. So, yes, I'm scared to death of snakes. The water filtration system is very light, so I tend to take my water filtration system when I'm hiking overnight. I'll take enough for my first day water to drink while I'm hiking. My filtration system, because I try to plan my hikes close to water sources, creeks, wells, whatever. I don't ever trust any water, so I have my little filtration system with me. And one filtration system is a whole lot lighter than carrying several gallons with you in your backpack. You don't want to do that. That's definitely, nope, don't do it. Also, like I said before, you always want to make sure you pack the appropriate amount of food, but not too much. And by appropriate, I mean pack your proteins, the stuff that gives you energy, not energy drinks, but good snacks that can be a good little boost for you. A lot of times I pack nuts. I'll pack anything from, even if it's just peanuts, I'll sometimes make a peanut butter sandwich, throw it in for my day hikes. Anything that's going to give you that little extra boost. Dehydrated food's great because it's light and it keeps. Dehydrated is also good when you're doing long hikes. So say you go on a 3-day hike, you got to pack food. You're going to want to stay away from stuff in cans that's weighted and heavy. You want to go with more of the dehydrated stuff. It's light. Just add your water. And in another series, I would tell you about, a way to heat the water. But for now, you would just add your water and you've got something you've packed in that's light, that's giving you energy and protein that you need and get you, on your way. So again, following those kind of simple things when it comes to your backpack really does help. Keep in mind, again, everything weighs something. Just think about that. And I won't make a believer out of you until you actually try it one time, and then you would understand. Last but not least is information and direction. By that, I mean information about the trail. Most of the trails can be found online. I use cumberlandtrail.org. I'm in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. We have tons of great trails around here. The Cumberland Trail is part of the Eastern Trail, the Great Eastern Trail. The Appalachian Trail is also nearby. I have plans in the future to hike that. But if you'll go online, a lot of times there's details about where to find your trailhead, if it's a through hike or a loop trail, what the elevation gain is, what to look for. Hey, sometimes it'll say walking down the trail at 0.4 miles into your hike, you will see a tree that looks like Elvis Presley. I mean, just making something up as an example, but you'll see stuff like that in the description. It's always good to read that ahead of time. So, hey, when you're walking the trail, hey, I'm on the right path. I'm going the right way. Another thing that's really important and something I always do is even in the summer, even though we have longer days, I always check what sunrise and sundown is. And I always keep track of that time when I'm out on the trail. It's easy to kind of get sidetracked, but let me tell you, when night falls, you can get very disoriented in the woods at night. You can't see the trail. You can't tell where the trail is. It's not clear. It's just always good to know, hey, I've got 30 minutes till the sun goes down. That means I need to be back to the trailhead by that time. Or that means I need to be at my camp by that time. If not, to start making the appropriate arrangements. Another thing too, with sunset, you have to keep in mind that your surroundings. So for instance, we're in the mountains. Sunset may be 5:45. But at 5:30, it's going to start getting dark fast because the sun is already going to be beyond the ridge and not shining down in the valleys where you could possibly be. So you want to kind of consider your surroundings, your environment. You know, are you in a heavily wooded area that gets less light, that sort of thing? Are you in a valley? You know, are you on a bluff? Just keep all those things in mind. So you know, hey, I've got this much time, get in and get out, and just be concerned with it or stay on track with it. That was the next thing on my list is to wear a watch. A lot of people carry a phone, which is great. Phones die though after so much time, taking too many pictures, too many videos, your phone dies, you don't know what time it is. I always keep a watch with me. Just something good to keep on hand. I mean, I actually wear a Fitbit, so what happens is it's good for 4 days. I know that. No matter what I do to it, it's good for 4 days. So I can go out on a hike and I know my time. I'm good. I don't take pictures with it or anything, so I'm good. Another thing to kind of keep in mind that you should always take with you is a compass. When you read your directions, you will see, you know, it'll tell you you're going to head north at this, you know, so many miles in, you're going to see this, and then you're going to turn east, and you're going to go see this, and of course all of our trails are marked, but if you were to get lost, if it becomes unclear and you find yourself in the woods and you cannot find your trail, with your compass, if you have your directions, which I always print mine out before I go, and I have a little waterproof pouch that I keep mine in. What I do is I can take that compass if I get lost and I can find my way back based on the directions. It's giving me the sun, where it's setting, just some common sense type things. You just want to keep all that in mind. So, you know, just to kind of recap, 3 most important things: your feet, your backpack, and where you're going. Kind of keep those 3 things in mind, and you're always going to be covered. You know, you're going to have the most important things there, which are pretty much essential for survival in the woods, if you will. I hope I've kind of helped convince y'all to maybe try out a trail. One of the best things I love about hiking is that obviously the fresh air does us all good. Sometimes I'll go on a hike before I have a homework assignment due, and the oxygen to the brain just kind of opens everything up and helps me think clearer. The stress is gone. It's great exercise. At one point, I did it quite a bit, specifically for exercise. On top of all that, most of the time, it's free, other than what you buy to wear, which you can find relatively inexpensive. It's a great thing to do that's available here in the U.S. all over. And I've seen more and more families take advantage of it, which I really love. Like I said, most trail information can be found online. Just Google it. You can go on YouTube, type in any number of trails. There's a lot of informational videos. If you ever have any questions, you can go to any number of REI co-op stores. There's always pretty well skilled and pretty informative employees there that can help out at any time. They're great. They have been my go-to for quite a while now. So anyways, I hope you all will take a moment to go outside and smell the fresh air, maybe take a short hike, and enjoy what we've been given on this green earth of ours. Thanks again, and I hope you all have a great day.